Good night, YouTubers. So, this evening I did a live video. Many of you know I sell nickel free, lead free $5 jewelry. And as a home based business owner, we have a why for what we do. And recently, my why has shifted, and I'm using the sales that I make from my home based jewelry to help pay for my specialist appointments. Lots of you know that I have a specialist appointment on June 2nd. I'm really excited about it. But unfortunately, it is not covered by my healthcare plan. So it's going to be about 400 bucks. So tonight I went live to showcase some jewelry and, get some sales, which I did. Thank you to those of you who showed some support and some love. And so in doing that, I realized I was talking about my story on that live, but I hadn't actually shared my story here on YouTube. You guys have been seeing my journey where I started off getting a detox to now, more recently, I've decided to not try all these crazy remedies and, lots and lots of different things, and just kind of be more holistic and do more natural things. And so I decided I'm going to come on tonight and share my story. So here it is. What I am experiencing is called secondary infertility. Secondary because I have a 9-year-old daughter. So this is something that my body can do and has done before, but there is an issue. My healthcare providers believe there's nothing wrong with me, which is part of the reason why I've had 4 miscarriages. They refuse to let me see a specialist or talk to me about my options in regards to a specialist, and I myself did not know them either. So that brings me to where I'm at now, excited and happy to be seeing a reproductive endocrinologist who specializes in recurrent pregnancy loss, or in layman's terms, multiple miscarriages or consecutive miscarriages. And so that's part of my story. My husband and I got married in 2017 and immediately knew that we wanted to start having kids. Unfortunately, a month after we got married, I broke my ankle. Now, some of you in the medical world may know about Lovanex. Lovanex is a blood thinner. I was immediately put on Lovanex because I was put on bed rest due to having surgery to repair my ankle. In January 2018, I found out I was pregnant. It was one of the happiest days of my life. I'm like, yes, my husband is awesome. He's a great father figure to my daughter, whom I've had through a previous relationship. She loves him. She calls him dad when she feels like. Sometimes she says daddy, daddy. Sometimes she says father. That's her dad, or her bonus dad, let's say that. No disrespect to her biological father. So, we was ecstatic. We were happy. We were excited. I told everybody I knew, oh my gosh, yes, we're going to be parents, and, we're going to have a baby of our own. Literally 2 to 3 days later, I miscarried. I didn't even get to go to the doctor to have it officially confirmed. So that was January. Immediately, I started to try to get pregnant after maybe 1 or 2 menstrual cycles. I talked to the doctor. Yeah, you can definitely start trying as soon as you feel comfortable and your cycle returns. It was a very early miscarriage, so my cycle returned literally within about a month or 2. We started trying. August comes of 2018. Boom, I'm pregnant. What? Oh my God, I'm pregnant again. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I was about 5 weeks. Went to the doctor. They did a blood test. Yes, you're pregnant. Yes, there's a pregnancy there. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yay. Literally, maybe I'd say a few days later, maybe a week or 2, I lost the baby again. I'm freaking out. I'm mad. I'm hysterical. This is crazy. I thought, having a miscarriage was like a one-time deal. It happens maybe to most people, but only once. Oh my God, what is going on? Go back to the doctors. Oh, don't worry about it. Everything's okay. You just keep trying. There's nothing wrong with you. How do you know that? Okay, we'll run some tests. So my period finally came back in October of 2018. If you're familiar with fertility and testing and all of that, you know that the certain tests need to be performed certain time periods while you are on your menstrual cycle. So I had those tests done, and I even had a procedure to go into my uterus and check. Based on the testing from the blood work that was drawn and the procedure that I had done, everything was normal. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. You'll get pregnant and everything will be okay. Okay, it's my doctor. I believe them. You know, these are medical professionals. I'm not a medical professional. They know what they're talking about. I got pregnant again November. Like, literally. I had the testing done in October. I was told I'm fine. Got pregnant in November. Did not know I was pregnant. I had what would be known as a missed miscarriage. I did not know that I was pregnant because I thought I was having a menstrual cycle. I thought that my menstrual cycle came back from miscarrying back in August. No, I was miscarrying again. I know that because I took a pregnancy test and it came up positive. The reason why I took a pregnancy test is I confided in a close family member of mine, and I explained to her that I had been bleeding, and this was just abnormal, and it didn't make sense to me, and I didn't know what was going on. And she was like, just take a pregnancy test. And I'm telling her, no, I'm bleeding. I'm on my cycle. There's no way I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I'm on my cycle. Sure enough, took the pregnancy test. It came out positive. And I continue to take them. Although I'm bleeding, I'm taking them. And every time I took them, of course, every so often, like every few days, the line would get lighter and lighter and lighter. So I went back to the doctor, and of course, they confirmed, yes, Mrs. Williams, you did miscarry again. Are you serious? This is number 3. Like, you guys said I'm fine. You guys told me that I'll be okay, told me that I have nothing to worry about. It's just something that happened. It's more than likely not going to happen again. I will be okay. So, of course, at that point, I had it. I put myself on birth control. And I stayed on birth control for, what was that? That was November of 2018. So I stayed on birth control till about January of 2019. I didn't like the way I was feeling. I didn't like my weight going up and down. I didn't feel comfortable. So I stopped taking birth control. February, March, April, May, June, July of 2019, I got pregnant again. It was confirmed on August 7th. Right. Because by July 31st, I still hadn't seen my period. So I said, there's no way I can be pregnant. But I'm going to take the test because that would explain why I hadn't seen my period for a whole month. Last time I saw it was in June 26th or 27th. And if you're trying to conceive, of course, you're tracking your cycles, you're writing down all of your symptoms, all that good stuff. So I knew I hadn't seen Aunt Flo in a while. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a pregnancy test, but I know it's going to be negative because I'm not pregnant. I can't be pregnant. I have no symptoms or signs except the fact that I'm missing my period. Sure enough, July 31st, I'm pregnant. What? Are you serious? Oh my God, here we go. Okay. All right. What do? Call the doctor. I immediately called the doctor. They were like, oh yeah, okay, we don't want to see you till you're 7-8 weeks. No. You want to see me now because I've had 3 consecutive miscarriages and I need a specialist. No, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. No, okay. You're not understanding me. This is my 4th pregnancy in the last 2 years, and I need a specialist. I need someone to figure out why I keep miscarrying so that way I don't miscarry this one as well. Okay. Come in. We'll track your levels. As long as your HCG is doubling or rising at a speed that we feel comfortable, we'll go from there and see what happens. So I go in, I'm getting blood work done every 2 to 3 days, and my HCG levels are doubling. All of a sudden, on like the third or fourth time that I took the blood test, it went up, but it didn't double. And that drew a red flag for me. I was like, whoa, okay. I've been doing good so far, and then all of a sudden it increases, but it doesn't double. So I'm like, this doesn't look good, doctor. No, everything's good. Don't worry about it. It's doubling, and it's now increasing like we like. It looks good. Everything will be okay. So I go in on August 7th because by now they should be able to actually see something. So I go in on August 7th, 2019, and I'm laying down in the room. I remember my husband was there with me, his sister, my sister-in-law, her and I are very, very close, her daughter and my daughter. We're all there together, and the doctor's like, yep, we've got a pregnancy. Are you serious? You can see? Yep, there it is. And they showed me my little bean on the sonogram monitor. And at this time, tears are in my eyes because I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm nervous, but I'm happy because according to them, my levels have been doubling. Everything looks great. This is it. The doctor even said in her own words, this is the furthest you've come since your daughter. Everything looks great. I'm excited. I'm happy. I tell all my family, like all of them. I take a little picture of my little bean. I send it out to all my family members. I send it out to very close friends of mine. I'm like, yes, baby Williams expected April 2020. I'm excited. Now, before I left the doctor's office, before I even got off the table, keep in mind the doctor's in between my legs. Y'all should understand what that means. Before she leaves and gets me off, lets me come off the table, I ask, is there any way we can check my progesterone levels? Because I heard low progesterone levels can cause miscarriage. Oh, no, there's not enough scientific evidence to prove that, you're fine. Everything looks good. You're going to be fine. This pregnancy looks like it's going to be the one. Don't worry about it. Okay. August 8th, go to work. Everything's cool. August 9th, go to work. Cool. Had to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. I wipe. There's blood. My heart starts racing. I start to panic. I immediately lock myself in my office. Thank God I have an office with a door and a window. Lock myself in the office, call my healthcare provider immediately and ask them if I can come in. I believe that I am starting to miscarry and I need to see a doctor now. Oh, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Most women spot during pregnancy. You'll be okay. No, I will not be okay. This will be my 4th miscarriage. How do you know you're having a miscarriage? I have a gut feeling, and I've been through this 3 times before. They go through a checklist. Are you dizzy? Are you faint? Can you stand up? Of course, I don't meet any of the criteria. I feel fine, but I know I'm not fine because there's blood coming out of me, and I know blood should not be coming out of me at this time. So they tell me not to come in. They tell me just go about my usual weekend and I'll be fine. It'll stop. At that time, one of my really good friends was getting married. And she could tell I was pregnant. And I told her I was pregnant because her and I are very, very close. She was there for the birth of Lauren. She came and she was so supportive. She's like a sister to me. You know who you are. For confidentiality purposes, I'll keep your name to myself. But you know who you are if you're watching. I appreciate you and I love you like a sister. You couldn't be more closer to me. But I'm at her wedding and I know I'm miscarrying. I know it. Because the bleeding has gotten heavier. I'm going from spotting now to actually bleeding. I call them again. I've traveled out of the state, but I can come in right now because I mean we just went up the street to St. Petersburg. It's like a 3-4 hour drive. So I was like, I can come in right now. Please just let me know. Please, I need to come in. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. That night after her wedding, I go to the hotel, and now I'm cramping. For anyone who has ever been in labor, which I have, and who's been through a miscarriage, which I have 3 times at this point, when you cramp and bleed and you're pregnant, you're more than likely either going into labor to deliver the baby or you are miscarrying. And I balled myself up in that hotel room and I cried. I laid next to my husband. He was asleep. I didn't want to wake him. My daughter was in the other bed. I didn't want to wake her, but I balled myself up and I cried. And I went to the bathroom multiple times and I watched my baby come out of me. I watched my baby. I saw the clots. I felt the cramping and I knew in my heart what was happening. But the doctors just, I don't know what the heck they were thinking. So we get back here to Georgia and I go to work. And no, I don't think I went to work. I believe I stayed home. I put myself on bed rest and I called out. So that was a Monday. By Tuesday, I was still bleeding and I was like, I need to go to the doctor. I need to be seen because something is not right. And I know it is. I know I've miscarried. I go and they do an exam and they tell me they see the pregnancy, but they also see a blood clot and that could explain the bleeding. So by now, I'm starting to get a little bit relieved. But the incompetent doctor says, I can't find a heartbeat. And at this point, we should be able to see a heartbeat on the monitor. Now I'm freaking out again. Remember, she just told me the bleeding could be explained by the blood clot that she sees, so everything could be okay. Then she flips it all of a sudden, and now it's, well, I can't find a heartbeat. So my husband and I are sitting there like, wait, you just told us we're probably going to be okay, but now you're saying you don't know. What is going on? So she sends me down to radiology and she tells me that I need to schedule an appointment. So I did. My phone is about to die and I do not want it to die during this story. So I'm going to move to where my charger is so I can continue this story. But we go down to radiology and they tell me that I have to schedule an appointment. I'm not scheduling an appointment. Are you crazy? Like, I need somebody to take care of me, like, right now. I could possibly be having a miscarriage, and I need help now. Needless to say, the phone died, and I took a little bit of time to get myself together. So we left off at radiology. So the doctor told me, go make an appointment at radiology and, see what happens from there. I didn't want to make an appointment at radiology because I knew I needed immediate help, but I did so anyway. Made the appointment with radiology, but I also demanded something be done right away. Went to call the doctor while I was still in the facility, and she went ahead and put in some lab work to be done. And she requested the lab work to be done stat, meaning immediately, right away. So I went to the lab, had my blood drawn, and what they were going to do was check to see if my HCG levels had risen since the last time that they checked them, or if they dropped. If they dropped, then we knew for sure I was having a miscarriage. So I had my lab work done and I came home. About 7 or 8 o'clock that evening, I got an email notification. Many healthcare providers nowadays have what's called a portal. On the portal, you're able to get lab results, you're able to communicate with your doctor through email and maybe even messaging as far as like an instant messenger type of deal. So I checked my healthcare provider's portal, and sure enough, my lab work had come in. And what I already knew to be true was confirmed. Again, I had a miscarriage. But this time, this miscarriage almost took me out. With this miscarriage, I had to have what's known as a DNC, dilation and curettage, meaning I had products of conception, which is what the doctors call it, or basically things, material from conception in me that would not come out. So after getting the lab work, finding out that I was having a miscarriage, like I was actually going through that process again. The doctors, I went back, of course, to see what would happen next. What is the next step? Because I was further along this time. And they told me, you have three choices. You can have a DNC, you can take some pills and force products of conception out, or you can let it happen naturally. Of course, my first instinct was to let it happen naturally, and I tried that, but it wasn't happening. Of course, I was bleeding. Of course, I had been experiencing that miscarriage, but there was products that just was not coming out. I went back and forth to the doctor for maybe a good week or two, and it wasn't coming out. And to this day, they didn't check. I asked them to check during the DNC, but they never checked to figure out what exactly the products were. Because if you remember, I also was told I had a blood clot. So we don't know if it was the clot or if it was actually, products of conception, like the actual baby, let's just say, or the embryo. We don't know exactly what it was, and they refused to check. So I tried the natural way. It didn't work. I took the pills, which was supposed to occur over like a 48 to 72 hour period. It didn't work. Each time I would go back and have a sonogram, they would tell me there was still stuff there. Frustrated by this time, I finally said, okay, I'll just do the DNC. Great. We're going to do the DNC. We'll get it all out of you. Everything will be fine. Cool. I was scared. I was nervous. A DNC is labeled as a minor surgery, but it's still surgery. I still had to be put under, and I was still going to be, worked on. I was going to have surgery. So they did the DNC. I came out of it. Before I had the DNC, let me back up a little bit. I asked the doctor, can you test whatever you get out of me to find out maybe possibly why I keep miscarrying? Like maybe whatever you find in testing may be able to help me. The doctor said, sure, no problem. So, like I said, had the DNC procedure. I'm coming out of recovery. I'm waking up. I'm becoming more and more alert. Of course, Brandon is by my side the whole time. And the doctor comes in to check back on me, and I ask, so do we know what it could have been, or are you going to have it tested? No, don't worry, don't worry. It was nothing that you need to be worried about. Are y'all serious? This man just told me before I went into surgery that he would test it and, that's not a problem. He completely understands. Now I'm out of surgery and he gonna tell me, oh, don't worry about it. It's nothing I need to be concerned about. Which ultimately told me that he got rid of whatever he took out and they weren't gonna test it. They didn't care to find out. Possibly, maybe. I know there's no guarantees, but they could have tested it and possibly found out why I continuously miscarry. But nope, they got rid of it, and that was the end of that. Sent me home, that was it. Now, after surgery, it's customary to do a follow up, right? Make sure the patient's okay, check to see that everything went well. I had a follow up. There was no sonogram, there was no nothing. I sat there, I paid my copay, and I sat and spoke to the doctor. She asked me how I feel, and that was it. She didn't look to make sure everything was okay. She didn't even touch down on my abdomen just to see if it was swollen or see if there was any pain or cramping. She asked me how I feel. I'm going to be honest, but I thought a follow-up appointment to a surgery would include some type of physical exam, right? Nothing. But whatever, it is what it is. I had my D&C. Products of conception were now gone, and I should return to normal very soon. Normal, as in without my baby. So that is basically my story. That is why I have to go and see a specialist. Those beautiful souls that I lost are the reason now why I sell my $5 jewelry and why I am asking for the help that I have been asking for. And I would like to say thank you to those of you who have supported by making a purchase, by sharing my video, and by even sharing your own stories of miscarriage and fertility issues, because it is something that is more common than most people would like to admit, most people would like to even consider. Miscarriages is very normal. It does happen. What's not normal and what is an issue is recurrent pregnancy loss or consecutive miscarriages, which is what I'm experiencing, which is why my story is a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more, I guess you could say, a little bit more of an urgent situation because it keeps happening. And in addition to the fact that it's recurrent, there's no explanation at this time. The testing that was done, and I will thank my healthcare provider for at least testing some things, but they didn't test all. They didn't look into everything, and they even dismissed my concerns and my feelings. So I'm on my own basically. I'm out here doing my research every day. Thankfully, I have a few confidants who are with me and they send me information and they help me as much as they can. And I've stated it before, but there's a website, Fertility in Color, for those of you mamas out there who are experiencing recurrent pregnancy loss. Look up Fertility in Color. I will put the information in the description of this video. But it's an awesome website, and the young lady who started it, her name is Sharisa. Her and I have been developing a relationship, and she's a wonderful, wonderful young lady. I really, really, really have to tell her thank you so much, Sharisa. If you're watching this, I greatly appreciate everything that you've done for me, because without her, I wouldn't have found out so much information that I have found out on recurrent pregnancy loss thus far. But again, this is my story. I wanted to share it with you all. As I said, I've shared my journey as far as what I've been doing, pregnancy tests, things like that. But I've never actually told you guys how I got to where I am today with setting up an appointment with a specialist, a special specialist. I need a special specialist. Of course I would. I wouldn't be me without needing a special specialist. But anyway, you gotta laugh so you don't cry, right? But anyhow, thank you guys for watching. Um, Continue to follow me on my journey. I will continue to update you. I will continue to let you know what's going on. And again, if you haven't done so already, check out bling45now.com. Again, the link is in the description of this video. Make a purchase. Everything is $5. It's nickel free, it's lead free, and every purchase is going to help towards paying for this special specialist that I need. More specifically, this first appointment, which is going to be a big one. Thank you guys, and I will see you soon.